It's like you can't gain more of your own time. You can only leverage other people's.
We interrupt this program to bring you this important message. Welcome to Marketing Interruption, a daily podcast powered by BlueTuskr that interrupts your day with marketing news, tips and strategies from an entrepreneur who lives and breathes marketing. Now, let the interruption begin with your host, Andrew Maff.
Hello and welcome to episode number 15 of Marketing Interruption. I'm your host, Andrew Maff, and today we'll be recapping everything I went over during this week, as well as answering a couple of questions, and I'm going to go over some stuff in the news. So let's touch on where we kind of went with this week. So earlier in the week, this week didn't have as much of a theme as I normally would like it to have, but I also didn't want to overkill praising HubSpot for too long. Maybe I just like orange. So we talked about the benefits of marketing automation and all the different things that you can do with automation. If you are a marketing, if you run a marketing department, or maybe you run a marketing agency, or even if you're just a freelancer on the side, anything that you can automate will help you scale. You cannot, what's that? There's a line that I read somewhere that I loved and I can't remember it. It's basically, you can't gain more of your own time. You can only leverage other people's time. But if you can automate stuff, you don't have to worry about your own time and you don't have to leverage anyone else's either. So it's much less expensive. So putting capital and investing into marketing automation is brilliant because it's going to keep your costs so much lower. And it's going to save you a ton of time. Then we talked about the benefits of using sequences. So we talked about using sequences to follow up with sales and basically all of my marketing gurus out there to help your sales teams. But to actually set up sequences and just let them go and then set a reminder to set a new sequence. We went through all that. And then we also talked about why marketing doesn't end after the sale and how you can do Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups and Slack communities and referral programs and case studies and all the stuff that you should be marketing to your customers. So it's existing people who have purchased with you or who have who are a lead, or I'm sorry, who are a purchased service from you or anything, existing, working with them, continuing to market with them, never stop marketing with them, ever until they fall off. You just don't want to stop because you never know if they're going to come back and shop or work with you again. Then yesterday, we talked about the KPIs that I love and hate. So the ones that I love, we talked about email list, conversion rate, lifetime value, CPA, and click-through rate. So all this stuff that kind of tells you once something breaks that's the one that is most likely to fluctuate the most. And then obviously lifetime value is the one that actually tells you what a customer is worth. And the ones that I don't like. So reach / impressions, social media followers, gross revenue, CPM, and website traffic from social media. So I'm very interested to still get some flack for saying some of those. I'm sure a lot of my marketer buddies are going to say, you're fucking wrong, but it's bite me. So that was a recap of the whole week. We kind of didn't really do a theme this week. I'm going to try to keep to the theme, but sometimes the marketing automation turned into KPIs and my head started spinning, so I thought we would talk about this week. But please make sure that you reach out. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Again, this is still kind of a relatively early podcast. I'm only a few weeks in now, and you got to do this for a long time. So send in any questions or anything that you may want to hear. You can obviously shoot me an email at marketinginterruption@bluetuskr.com. So the question this week, sadly enough, came from my wife, but it was a good question because I have gotten this question before, and she's not in marketing, but she had this question. It was something I've always wanted to kind of explain to the people, the conspiracy theorists and things out there. So we were hanging out, and I told her, I was like, give me a marketing question so that I can use it in the podcast this week. I was like, because they haven't gone out yet, so I haven't had questions yet, so I'm kind of scraping to the bottom of the barrel. And she goes, I don't know. And then we were sitting there, and she goes, how is it so-and-so company knew to target me on Instagram? I never looked into them, and yet here they are. Are they actually listening to my phone? It is not a question that a lot of marketers like, just because it's kind of like you talk to someone who's not in marketing, and you're like, come on, seriously? Like, no, they're not listening to your phone. So I'm sure everyone who's listening to this right now probably already knows the answer to this, but they don't listen to your phone. I know a lot of people think that yes, they do, and you're wrong. But so specifically for Facebook and Instagram, there is an option where you can run an ad to people like your friends, or like your followers if you're on Instagram. And it's basically, if I Googled something and she's a friend of mine on Facebook, then she may get an ad for it. And it has happened vice versa all the time. There's so many times where her and I will have a conversation. She'll say, I'm going to buy this. Great, go ahead, buy it. And then I'll get an ad for it. I didn't look it up. I didn't do anything. But because I'm friends with her, Facebook showed it to me. There's also a lot of times where people look out for consequences. People look out for coincidences. They don't look out for things that mean nothing to them. So how many times have you gotten an ad that meant nothing to you and you had no idea why you got it? Chances are one of your other friends was looking something up that you didn't talk to and you got that ad, but the only one that stands out is the one that obviously you just had the conversation about. There's also just Facebook's algorithm in general. Obviously, I'm sure things that I purchase maybe for the house versus things she purchased for the house are probably relatively similar, in which case Facebook algorithm can then just take me and her and put us in a lookalike audience, in which case it may happen. But I'm sorry to say it's a coincidence. 9 times out of 10, it's simply a coincidence, or it's just Facebook's algorithm doing its best. Your phone is not bugged. You'll be fine. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. That was the question I got. And clearly you can tell that I need you to send in questions so that I don't have to answer stuff like that anymore. So please email me, marketinginterruption@BlueTuskr.com. I appreciate seeing you all again, and I will talk to you all next week. Have a good one.
Thank you for joining us for today's Marketing Interruption. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show. And don't forget to email marketinginterruption@BlueTuskr.com with any marketing questions you'd like to have answered on the show. And head over to marketinginterruption.bluetuskr.com to catch up on past episodes. Until next time, we now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.